Well, welcome to part 15 of the Sonic Unleashed Let's Play. So, now that we are done with the last proper day stage in the whole game, we gotta do the final... We now have one more temple to restore. And of course, what temple that we have to restore? Well, the only area that has, the only temple, you know what I mean. The only piece of the planet that's actually floating above, of like an ugly tumor. Oh, this is something. Yeah. Turns out, I think if you talk to Amy long enough, or at least that would, yeah, if you actually talk to Amy at this point in the game, you can actually have Sonic to agree that he would go out on a date with Amy Rose. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it, Amy. I'll go. Once this is over, I'll go out with you. But before I do that, I actually gotta take a book back to the library. Something about King Arthur and how King Arthur and Camelot and the Holy Grail. Wait, wrong game. Well, wrong thing anyway. But don't worry, I'll be quick about it. Yeah, I won't forget our date. I won't forget the date. So, anyway, now that that's over, once we talk to Professor Pickle, we now talk to Tails, so we can proceed with the plot and restore the last continent. Just hit that option, and now we can fly. And ladies and gentlemen, for this very late in the game, I guess for the sake of bookends, we are now doing in the second and final tornado level in the whole game. Yeah, this is what I mean. I think back in part 3 where I mentioned that this is only very few in between. Like, this is the last one. And we have one in the beginning where it transitions from Adipose to Spagonia. And here we have the arrival to Eggman Land. And it's very... Honestly, yes, this does come off as a bit pointless. But for the sake of a harder version of a level, I guess this could work. But again, I just wish there wasn't so many QuickTime events. The difference here is that, obviously, it's harder. It's a lot harder than the first one. I believe there is an achievement for the first flying level that go through the entire level without taking damage. I'm not sure if there's an achievement for this one. I don't think so. Because this would be hard. This would be a lot harder to, go through without a scratch. 'Tis but a scratch. Other than that, there really isn't that much to talk about in terms of the second flying level. Well, it's really just a harder version of what we just did in the beginning of the game. And I messed up that QuickTime event royally, even though all I had to do is press square, square, square. Who knows? Maybe, I guess my reaction time, I don't remember how I messed that. Maybe my reaction times were all, or at least my reaction skills weren't all that sharp. But as I look at the video, this is gonna be a beefy part. And I know what's gonna happen. And I know what's gonna happen in this stage. Well, in this part. Because, we're near the end of the game. And so we haven't really seen Eggman all that much. The sky is purple and all that, so he must be heading to his territory. He must be that big white tower where Sass is just constantly insulting Dr. Eggman in the best way possible. So, Sonic Unleashed, I think this is probably the start of where Sonic games started to have a bit more humor to it. Again, when it comes to humor in Sonic games, I think it works. If we can like the corny, nonsensical humor that was going on in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, why can't we like it here? Even though, admittedly, a lot of jokes can be hit and miss. Particularly Sonic Colors next game, but whatever. Just more QuickTime events, nothing special. Oh, you know, HD version. This is one case where you could take notes from the Wii version, your inferior counterpart, because you didn't have any. Because the Wii version doesn't have any of this. Well, didn't have any of this flying. Like even the boss. Even the boss is the same. The Egg Cauldron. And again, all this really is just a harder version of the Egg. This is really just a harder version of the Egg Cauldron. But well, no. Yeah, this is just a harder version of the same thing. That's all this of the list. This really serves no purpose. Again, I would have liked this. I would have liked these flying segments more if they behaved just like in Sonic Adventure 1. You're flying around, moving in 4 directions, you know, up, down, left, and right. Hey, shooting down missiles, those with you shooting down everything, and without being at the mercy of, well, quick time events. Again, it's the same process as before. Shoot down any missiles or enemies and whatnot. And then once he opens the hatch, and we see the well, a good opportunity to press the same button 5 times, and you do that. Again, this is nothing special. I think the only other difference is that the timer is a lot shorter, but I don't think it really means anything. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, there's really nothing left to talk about. On the bright side, at least I have 100. Yeah, at least I have 100% health all throughout the well, yeah. You see, at least I had 100% health all throughout the entire thing. And that is pretty much it for Tornado Defense Act 2. Nothing special. Moving on. Yeah, just moving on. Yeah, that's it. Thankfully, it was the last of them. Thankfully, it was the last of the Tornado Defense Acts. Nothing special. They're pointless. Moving on.
Welcome to Eggman Land, the brainchild of my heart and soul. This is my magnificent empire, made possible through my genius and the limitless energy harnessed from Dark Gaia.
What? Whoa, this place is crazy.
I'll never understand Eggman's tastes.
Get a good shot.
Surprise? Yes, of course you are! Sonic! If you have any complaints, come deliver them to me in person. If you can, that is.
Ah, he's enjoying this way too much.
Sonic! I can feel the last temple nearby. He must have built this place on top of it.
Well, I guess we'll just have to tear it down.
Oh, God. Okay. Now, I have something to mention here, or at least... Now, with all that being said, we are heading into most definitely my most hated final level in the entire Sonic series. I mentioned before, but I'd rather play through End of the World than the final level of this game. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in Eggman Land, and the absolute bane of my existence, and to me is the absolute worst final level in the entire Sonic series, at least in my opinion. To me, this level, well, if there's one thing I can't give credit for besides this first segment is that thematically, at least it makes sense. You know, Eggman has finally made his creation in Eggman Land, and it's just as horrible as it sounds. And you know what? Again, to its credit, this first part right here, there's a lot of multiple pathways you can take. Like the ways of getting through this part just seem endless to me. You know, so again, you know, that we're off to a good start. Nothing too terrible. But you know, Eggman Land to the here's this part coming up. I stop, and I swear I did not mean to slide off the edge. That's something in the physics engine that could happen. It's something that Generations fixes, admittedly. But you know what? Going back to this whole thing, and with, you know, Eggman Land, you know, how it makes sense. Just because something makes sense, that doesn't automatically make it good. Because this stage can be so unforgiving. So anyway, we got through this first part, and as you can see that we hit the hourglass. Let me introduce you to the main gimmick of Eggman Land. Cause it's around certain parts of the stage you're gonna be forced to switch between both Sonics. And so the first part we obviously did a daytime Sonic first, and since we hit the hourglass, we are now playing as the Werehog. Cause the gimmick with Eggman Land is that we have to play the stage as both Sonic and the Werehog. So you know what, I guess this is good. This is a good concept for a final level, very akin to what that Sonic Adventure 2 did, you know. It'll play as both gameplay styles. Well, near the end of the game, you know, building up on what you learned and how it'll help you, especially since you leveled up. Which leveling up can help you with your strength, your health, and all that. And my best advice here is that whenever you go through at least for the first Werehog segment, just go straight to the lever. If you're fast enough, you'll have plenty of time. Sonic will have plenty of time to just pull the lever, and the platforms will lower down. Because in order to get the S rank of this stage, it's based around time. And so you can ignore the enemies all you want. Well, except here, you kind of have to destroy every enemy in this area. And that's one reason why I hate these laser enemies, because since they constantly shoot and you'll gain so many pot shots, you don't get invincibility frames, unfortunately. You'll get so if it's something like a laser, or if you get stuck on something hazardous, Sonic will you'll just suffer multiple pot shots. That's from enemies. This is kind of something that I wish games today would still have. Invincibility frames. Why did something like that become something so obsolete? To make it more realistic? In that case, screw realism. This is a video game, and obviously here you want to avoid with these teacups. They spout fire. Obviously the fire can hurt you. So just avoid the teacups as much as you can. Although it is sort of impossible. So again, for the first Sonic and Werehog parts, I guess they're not too bad, and in my eyes, but as we get closer to the hourglass here, we turn into daytime Sonic, so we can hit that spring. And now, since we're in the second Sonic segment, this is where the stage starts to become awful, in my opinion. And because here we have these pusher blocks with Eggman's face on them, which admittedly is kind of humorous. But when that face turns red, you might want to get out of the way, because if you do get pushed by that Eggman block, and pushing outwards towards the screen, Sonic will get pushed off screen and it'll cost you a life. Who knows? Maybe I guess Sonic it can't work well in the 3D. Maybe Sonic is a stigma of 3D, but remember the whole bobsleigh segment in Holoska? Because now we have to put that shit to use, or at least that knowledge to use. Except now we have to avoid all these spikes and lasers and whatnot, and if I get hit, and there's a high possibility of just getting hit and gets sent flying off the edge and all that. And granted, I don't die in this part, thank God, which is great for my sanity, but it also destroys the whole point of what I'm about to talk about. But if you get hit, by anything, Sonic will be sent flying forward. And in a case like this, where it's kind of hard to see the lasers and this ramp coming up, like that ramp, can be so hard to see because of how dark and colorful the stage is, and the fact that the ramp is so small and it's being blocked by a horde of enemies. I should not have boosted there. I was lucky that entire segment. On your first time playthrough, I can guarantee you would die a lot. That is precisely the reason why they put that one up right before it in the first place. And now we're in the second Werehog segment, and good God, what were they thinking with this part? You know, that's the whole thing I have with Eggman Land, and so far, especially in this segment, because in this segment, you have to constantly balance yourself on these pipes and whatnot, and they're so easy to fall off. Again, my advice, just like in Empire City, take these segments slow and wait for the camera to change. Because if you don't, well, then you're just creating a whole lot of trouble for yourself. Like, a whole lot of trouble for yourself. And then we have this part coming up where you have to jump on a bouncing pipe, but the camera's so hard to see it. Ugh! Oh my God. You know what? It might not be so much of a leap of faith, just like how a lot of NES games would do. But considering how you have to jump on a pipe that you have to balance on, it might as well be a leap of faith. And here, this is where I gain my sanity, or at least try to gain my sanity. This part right here, Eggman Land. I would rather go through 7 different segments, a rehashed average, so that is end of the world, than nearly an hour of poorly designed trial and error bullshit that just goes on and on and on. And when I say poorly designed, I really mean it in this segment, because those parts with the 10 rings in the book, like, that is a horribly designed pathway that I just choose not to take. Because in this part, Sonic does not have a drop shadow because like, you know how the graphics engine works. It goes for more realistic, but there's no drop shadow and whatnot. So it's kind of hard to tell what to jump on. And to add further salt to the wound, it's also very hard to fight depth perception. To judge distance. Like you see, this pipe, you can actually jump on that. Like, it may not, you would think that you wouldn't be able to jump on that, but lo and behold, you can. That's the kind of stuff, that's the problem that is plagued throughout this entire segment. You are fighting the depth perception. And you know what? This wouldn't be so bad if you had a drop shadow, but you don't. And in this segment right here, watch. I try to jump over the spike. Nope. I wasn't positioned correctly. And since you didn't have invincibility frames and I was constantly getting hit, I lost my balance and I fell up into the lava pit below. It's shit like that, along with the whole depth perception issue. You know, it's one thing... Sorry about that. It's one thing if I have to fight depth perception, but if I have to do that as well as jump on on some platforms that I have to balance myself on, which is very easy, which is very hard to do, then you know what? I consider that bad fucking design. Like, come on. I hate Eggman Land with a passion. And now we're in the third Sonic segment. And I didn't mean to hit the hourglass again, because I was trying to homing attack onto the spring. I'm raging too much, I am sorry. Like, I am raging a lot more than I did with Sonic 06, especially when it comes to its story and how... Oh, and for some reason the graphic, it's just glitched out apparently. And now we are on the final Sonic segment in the stage, and of course this is obviously going to be the hardest, because now we have more pusher blocks. Like I said again, if you get pushed off screen, that's going to cost you a life. Like that. And I guess the in-game reason is the fact that if you do get pushed off screen in a 2D segment, that is going to be classified as a bottomless pit. Or maybe it's also because Sonic has a stigma of being in the 3D world. Well, who knows, maybe because of Sonic 06 or whatnot. And after the stigma, he dies as a result. Thankfully though, like in terms of the pusher blocks that are on the left or right of the screen, like that one, and on the disappearing and reappearing platform, you don't have that one. Those were not lethal. But in terms of the ones that push out towards the screen, oh yeah, those are lethal. You do not want to be in front of those. And of course, I can't reach that quick time event. What is that quick time thing that you have to press the right button in order to proceed onto the main pathway. Now this segment right here, admittedly, I did have a hard time in this segment at first, but admittedly this actually is a very interesting segment where you have to use these quick time events to run away from the saw blades. But now this part coming up, speaking of quick time events actually, circle. Oh, see how these quick time events go? Granted, I may have hit the wrong button, but you wanna know what's a problem with these? But you wanna know what's a problem with this quick time event and segment? These quick time events, they are so fucking fast. It's like you have to have godlike reflexes. Like that last one especially, where I had to hit square. That one is so fast. It's so fast to the point where you might as well you have to hit the pause button in order to get the button. In order to hit the correct button. And, I do not like that. Guys, for those that might complain in the comments section on how I am complaining that this final segment, that this final level is way too hard. Guys, look, I get it. It's the final level in the game. It's supposed to be hard. But then there's hard in a sense where it's fair, and then there's a difference between hard in a sense where it's fair, or at least, or hard in a sense where it's fair, and then hard in a sense where it's bullshit hard. And this is bullshit hard. It's like, good God, what were they thinking? Eggman Land is to me, Eggman Land is just a fucking brutal stage. Easily, the worst final level in any Sonic game. Even though I didn't really get to play through Showdown on Sonic Spinball. But I'm not really a pinball guy, so don't expect me to play Sonic Spinball, because I suck at it. I mean, out of all the final levels I would play through, though, like, I would rather play through Wing Fortress from Sonic 2, because of its faulty collision detection at points. I would also rather play through, oh god, I'd rather play through Wing Fortress though, with its wonky collision detection. I would rather play through Terminal Velocity and how much of a final, and how much it barely feels like a final level. Oh, I would rather play through Little Planet Wisp and Sonic Generation just because of its irksome gimmicks. It's end of the world, despite on how stupidly placed that the time holes can be. I would rather play through any of those final levels than Eggman Land. And I got lucky. I wish I actually did make a death count in this part. I think I've raged too much. And we're not even done. Alright. Thankfully though, I think we do come out of this part of the stage just fine. I don't hit the spring for some reason. There we go. Almost there. Just gotta go through here. And then, do I get the quick time event right? Yes, I do! Yes! Oh my god! Finally, I am done with that segment. And of course, we have our skydiving segment. This part right here, or actually, I want to bring up, yeah, this part is kind of impossible to go through without getting hit because of how Sonic is constantly moving. Like that. Well, even though I try to move myself to the left, but no, I can't. I just couldn't do it. Here's a part. Now here's an interesting tidbit. We have ourselves a shortcut. If you fail this wall jump, I believe if you fail this wall jumping segment at least 3 times, and there's a laser gate that'll appear, and you'll have to switch to the werehog in that segment. That doesn't. You'll then go through this area where the Sonic will have. You have to go through this area, which is kind of hard to go through, and that is it. We pretty much made ourselves a shortcut, which lets us skip an area where we had to open a door, where we had to open another door, that had to rely on levers, and such. And now we are on the final werehog level segment. We pretty much just got done with the final Sonic segment. Well, now we are finally on on the final Sonic werehog segment. Just gotta move this lever. Those egg pawns actually, if you do kill them, they won't drop any unleash points nor any XP. So again, just ignore them. Now we are on these kinds of segments where we have to slide through this pipe, avoiding all these blades and whatnot. And here's something I want to give out. If you do get hit by these blades, the dumb thing about it is that when you do get hit, because you know how I'm saying is that on certain obstacles and whatnot, when Sonic does get hit, and Sonic will constantly get hit again due to the lack of invincibility frames. Meaning you'll get multiple, you'll suffer multiple pot shots. And that really shows in these segments, in these pipe sliding segments. And we have to do 3 of these. Yeah, we have to do 3 of these, mind you. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this stage. I have no idea what they were thinking. Okay, so now we have to get through this. Avoid those blades correctly. I don't know how I avoided getting hit. Alright, this is the kind of stuff I was talking about. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It is so easy to just to suffer so many pot shots. That's by the fan blades. Ugh. Why? And in this segment, and right here, we have to do more leaps of faith. Even more leaps of faith. Wonderful. Ugh. Okay, admittedly, I guess that could have been my fault. Oh, but again, it can be so hard to judge. If I was able to go back in time and show you my first playthrough of this stage, oh, you would see a lot more deaths hell, a lot more game overs. Because again, Eggman Land is brutal. It's a brutal stage. What were they? And constantly, I would go, not again. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I was actually pretty lucky though, because as if I wasn't all that lucky, I would have suffered even more hits. Thanks level designer, you're really all that fucking great at making a final level in Sonic Unleashed. In the Wii version of this stage though, the Daytime Sonic and the Werehog are actually separate. But the problem with the Werehog in that version is that, like, the problem with the Werehog in terms of stages in the Wii version is that it starts off with 3, but then the second half of the game it goes into 4 Werehog levels, and then when you get to Eggman Land, now it suddenly becomes 5 Werehog levels, which makes Eggman Land in that version equally as stupid. It's Eggman Land it might not be as brutal as the brutally long or brutally difficult as the HD version, but in terms of length, actually, it may not be as brutally difficult as the HD version, but it can be brutally long. Or possibly even longer, because since they're separated in separate stages and you have to deal with multiple loading screens to begin with. Like, what were they thinking? Like, that's the best way I can describe Eggman Land. What the fuck were they thinking? Oh, and here's a fun little story. Yeah, I'd like to share. When I was replaying this stage, you know, just to get my save file back and whatnot. Apparently what happened is that I was fighting these enemies in this particular room. I was doing a good job of, you know, or whatnot. Well, okay, yeah, I was doing a good job, whatnot. But then suddenly what happened in this area, the camera glitched out. Oh, I am not pulling your leg. I am not pulling your leg. I am not making a joke here. The camera just suddenly, what happened with the camera is that the camera just glitched out, like, it zoomed out and the game thought I fell into a bottomless pit. That's right, I have suffered a camera glitch in this stage and it costed me a life. Now thankfully, when I died at that moment, it wasn't my last camera glitch, but since it happened anyway, yeah, fuck this level. It's like they didn't have time to properly test it. Because there's also another glitch in Eggman Land where you can do, at least a speedrunning glitch, and most of the textures and whatnot would not show up. Oh god. I think I let out all my fuel. Like, I think I let out all my rage fuel. Oh, just gotta beat up this wizard. Didn't gain any more XP. Oh look, another wizard. There we go. Now they're taken down. And that is it for Eggman Land. My rank? Yeah, I got an A rank. If I didn't die in the other areas, as it's like they expected you to fuck up a lot in this stage. So that might as well be in a sense of pity. So, with all my complaining being done and over with, that is it for Eggman Land as well as this part. So in the next part, we are actually going to be finishing up this game. And so enjoy this cutscene montage as well as this extra cutscene that I'm going to show up, which I won't mention. That's going to show up, but I'll mention that at the end of the video. See you then.
The final Chaos Emerald. Back at last. This should put the world back to normal. Dark Gaia will go back to being sealed within the core, and my work will be done.
That's great, Chip.
Yup. Thank you, Sonic. It's all thanks to you. Yeah!
Alright, so before I end this part off, I just want to mention one thing as well. The last cutscene that we saw in the video, that was actually a cutscene I missed during recording, and I thought I was able to rewatch the cutscene again after I got back to it, but apparently no. Oh, and I couldn't see it again. And Sonic Unleashed is one of those games where you can't really watch the cutscenes offhand again unless if you collect the videotape. So I want to bring a very special thanks for letting me use this cutscene. I would like to thank this YouTube user, BlazeTheCat130, for letting me use this footage. And I actually do recommend you check out her channel. Well, her channel will be in the description, and because she actually does make some interesting stuff. Again, her channel will be in the description. Well, at least the link to her channel will be in the description, so you can check out her stuff as well. Well, in fact, she actually has cutscene compilations of pretty much a lot of Sonic games nowadays. But yeah, I pretty much just want to mention her, or at least mention him or her, whoever, or at least whatever gender that's occupying in that channel anyway. And with that, all that said and done, like I mentioned before, in the next part, we're going to be finishing up the game. I'm GameMan5804. You all have a great day.